There is this video on Architectural Digest called Inside the World's Most Extraordinary Homes. And in this video, they show 8 houses. The first one is something like a breathtaking desert mansion that looks like a fossil. While I was watching it, it brought so many different emotions in me that I felt like I should make a video about it. My first reaction when I saw this house was honestly shock. And I'm saying this as an architect. I mean, I should be more familiar with this kind of stuff, right? I shouldn't be that surprised. But this house was so surprising. It's not like the normal houses we usually see. My first reaction was literally, is this a house? Because it doesn't really look like one. It doesn't look like the normal conventional houses we're used to seeing. And of course, rich people usually have their own ways of designing their houses. I mean, their interiors are different from what we normally see, but this is different, like next level different. So my first reaction was, is it actually a house? Is it really a place where at the end of the day you go to rest or spend a relaxing weekend? Like, what is the actual purpose of this space? And that brings me to the next thing I was thinking about. Is this house livable? When you are in a house, there are normal things you do. You rest, you cook, you relax, you have people over, maybe you study, read a book, watch something. But in this house, I feel like everything, all details, every surface, every object is so distracting. It honestly feels more like an amusement park to me. And don't get me wrong, it is incredibly creative. It's cultural, it's artistic, but I was still having a hard time understanding what this space actually is. Because when you imagine doing normal daily things in a house, I don't know if you can do them here without being constantly distracted by everything around you. Then there was something the interior designer said in the video. He mentioned that the owner basically told him, you have no time limit, you have no budget limit, just be your best. And this is actually something interesting to talk about because when very rich people have the opportunity to fully express themselves, when there is no budget limit, no time limit, whatsoever, this is what happens. This stops being just a house. Their choices become so different from what we usually see in normal homes. For example, I feel like I couldn't even watch a movie or a series in this house. Everything around you is so visually intense that it would constantly pull your attention away. Maybe someone could say that after a while, they get used to it. Maybe at first everything distracts you, but later it becomes more normal. But that brings me to my next question. For how long can you actually stay in this house? To me, it feels overstimulating. If someone told me to live there for a week, it would feel like living inside an amusement park. And I'm not sure I could do that. Personally, I don't think I could live in this house for a week. Maybe 2 nights, maybe three maximum. I'm not sure, but after that, I feel like my brain would be like, okay, this is too much. And then we get to one of the most important parts of any house, which I always talk about on my channel, maintenance and cleaning. You guys know this is always one of my biggest concerns, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about cleaning this house. I genuinely want to know, how do you clean a house like this? How do you maintain it and keep it looking the way it does with all these details and all these tiny elements everywhere? They say the house looks like a fossil and it's located in the middle of the desert, something like a national park. So my first thought is dust. There must be so much dust, and honestly, even thinking about cleaning a house like this gives me anxiety. But again, this is the world of very rich people, so maybe that's not something they even think about. Maybe there's a whole team dealing with that and everything, but still, I can't help thinking about it. Personally, I can appreciate a house like this as an experience. If someone invited me there for a couple of hours, maybe to have a coffee, walk around, see the space, I would absolutely say yes, or maybe to have a drink there. And I don't do drugs, but honestly, I feel like this might be one of those places where people would want to do some kind of drug just to experience the space in a different way. Anyway, it's like visiting a sculpture, something you experience, something you show to others. But if we're talking about beauty in the sense of a beautiful home, I'm not completely sure. If we talk about practicality, comfort, coziness, this house is definitely not cozy. It's definitely not comfortable. And interestingly, I'm not even sure I would call it luxurious. Even though obviously it is very expensive, but when we think about luxury homes, most of us imagine something different. And this made me think of a funny question. Let's say you start dating someone and they live in this house. Would you date someone who lives here? I mean, of course you would, because obviously that person is rich and they're loaded. So yeah, sure, who wouldn't? But then I start thinking about actually living there. Imagine dating someone and spending time in this house every day. Could you handle that? Because I honestly don't think I could. But let me know what you think in the comments. All jokes aside, I do think this house is so far outside my comfort zone that it reminds me something important. Not every house needs to be livable. Not every house needs to make us feel comfortable. Sometimes architecture is just about experience. Sometimes architecture is just about expression. And this house is definitely that. That's it for this video. I can't wait to read your comments about this beautiful or maybe weird or maybe just very peculiar mansion. And I hope I'll see you in the next video.